Today we're going to take a look at the Dynasty stock market, and we're going to look at 3 running backs and how they're being valued in trades from Dynasty League to Dynasty League and how we should value them. And this gives you an idea of what you should be doing in your leagues. Also, I've done a ton of videos like this on the channel all off season long. Check those out in the archives for other players. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as we get started, because I'm going to be doing this all off season long, giving you an idea of how to trade for some of these players in your Dynasty leagues. And I bump these out a couple times a week, so you have some players to look at to make some offers for. But the first running back we're going to look at today from the top end of ADP, because we go from the top of ADP and we're working our way down throughout the summer, is Nick Chubb of the Cleveland Browns. Right now he's 27 years old, signed through 2024 with the team, but has an out at the end of the season on his contract due to dead cap. Right now is being drafted 42 overall in ADP, RB 14. Players drafted in this range is Michael Pittman, DJ Moore, TJ Hockenson, Chris Godwin, and Jordan Addison. Last year had 7 RB1 weeks, 4 RB2 weeks, and 11 double-digit PPR performances. He averaged 16.7 PPR points per game, high of 32.3 points, and a low of 8 points. All in all, he's pretty consistent. Rushed for 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns, caught 27 balls for 239 yards. Very productive last year. One of the most productive running backs in the league. As we all know, Kareem Hunt is now gone, and Jerome Ford is the backup for at least now. So, looking like he's going to get a large workload there in Cleveland. But going to the trade analyzer, looking at his value on the calculator, in 1 QB leagues, he's valued more than the 104, but less than the 103. So about pick range wise, 104 plus a late second, early third round range in picks there. In 2 QB Superflex leagues, 107-ish. That's about where the value is. I don't feel like the market is really going to be this aggressive considering it's rookie fever time, and the trends from what we've read from other players on previous videos says otherwise too, especially with win now players on this archetype. So going to the trade finder, and what we're looking at here is a 2024 first on one deal. Another one was straight up for DeAndre Hopkins. Another one was straight up for George Pickens. Another one was straight up for a 2025 first. Jordan Love in 2QB, 201. 2024 first on multiple occasions, a 109. Tajay Spear and Rashad White. DeAndre Swift, 2 2025 firsts. Jamal Williams, 2024 first and a second, and then more of 2024 first. That seems like being the going right here is the 2024 first. That's just what we're seeing pop up more from league to league to league. So that might be what we're seeing as the average price for him, which is less than what we're seeing on the calculator. Some trades are cheaper than others. Some trades are more expensive than others. That's just something you're going to see. But again, if you need a running back that is productive this year, check the deals out, see what you can get in your league, kick the tires, see what comes back at you. However, if you're a rebuilding team, stay away. Don't draft, don't select, don't trade for, don't do it, because by the time your team's built up, he's going to be on the outs. More than likely, should be. If you need short-term production, look for the best price in your league's market for these older running backs who are on the top end, who are productive or looking like they're going to get a good workload this year. And short term could be 1, 2, 3 years. 3 years seems to be average. 2 years seems to almost be average these days for running backs. But when you're looking at these older running backs who are productive, like a Nick Chubb, check out the price, because sometimes they're more expensive than what you think they are, and it's just different from league to league. We're looking at good producers who are eventually going to run dry. What's the best deal can I catch for these running backs is what we should be asking. What's the best deal can I catch when I'm looking for a running back? When it comes to selling these running backs, you just want to kick the tires and see what happens. When it comes to these older running backs who hold value, you just want to kick the tires, see what happens. You know your team. You know what you want to do with it. You know how it's built. You know whether it's win now or not. You know your league. You know if you need this production now or if you don't. And you know what the comeback's going to be like. We looked at these trades. You're looking at a 2024 first. Hopefully you can catch more than that, because you want to catch more than value. Everybody wants to do that with every negotiation and every trade. And that's okay to do that. That's okay. 2024 first, on average, is what we're seeing here on the Trade Finder. You can say he's worth more or less, but that's what we're seeing. The goal is, if you're going to deal a player, you want to catch more than that average value. That's what you're trying to do. You want to try and buy him cheaper than the average value. That's what you're trying to do. More than likely, you're going to meet in the middle somewhere, and that's what it looks like. The next running back we're going to look at has been in the league for a few years now, has seen some production, but injuries has hampered him a bit. Elijah Mitchell of the 49ers. He's 25 years old, RB48, 145th overall in ADP, signed through 2024, but remember, he's a 6th-round pick on a cheap contract, and the team has no sunk cost to him. That's evident considering they traded for a Christian McCaffrey. However, we're looking at him as a different asset now compared to like a year and a half ago. However, when he's on the field, we're looking at a player who has an 86th percentile speed score, 88th percentile burst score, 81st percentile agility score. So we're looking at a good athlete. So even with the opportunity being limited, when attrition hits, there could be more opportunity. Also, when you're this fast, all it takes is one carry for you to bust off a big one for a touchdown and be fantasy relevant. So those spike weeks could happen, and then you're looking at players being drafted at a cheap rate, 145th overall. So that value is going to be there. So it's really, what do you want to spend these cheap picks on? Looking at the trade calculator, valued as a mid-third in all formats. 1 QB, super flex is where it's going at, somewhere around in that range. Then we're looking at real trades off the trade finder per MFL. 3rd round pick from 2025, a 4th round pick from 2024. Those are straight up in 2 different deals. Zach Moss and Drew Lock. Devin Singletary straight up. Evan Ingram straight up. A 2025 second. Used to move up 3 to 5 spots in multiple different trades and multiple different drafts. Sean Tucker straight up. 308. So very close to what we're seeing on a calculator. We're seeing a little bit of different values in some of these trades. But overall, around 3rd and 4th round range. Cheap back end player to get for the back end of your roster. Just a cheap guy to get. And what do you want to spend those cheap picks on? What do you want to do? Do you want to get a veteran with some upside? McCaffrey's not the youngest back out there. He hasn't been bulletproof from injuries either, so he could catch some opportunity throughout the year. And then once we get into season here, running backs pop off sometimes for 1 or 2, 3 game stretches, sometimes like that. You never know what's going to happen. It's good to have these athletic backup running backs on your roster, and he's at a price where you could possibly pay for that. However, at that price too, there's other players to look at. There's other things to do. 3rd round's pretty deep in this year's draft, so there might be a player you'd rather have that's young, that you can build around, that you can have for a long time. But we're also looking at a player here with a running back in front of him that's had some injuries on him. He's got some mileage. He might catch some opportunities sooner or later. It could be like week 8, 9, something like that for a couple weeks. And you got that backup running back who's got some speed to him on a team that can move the ball a tiny bit and could get some opportunity. That's what you're looking at here. Again, it's not a guy you're going over the moon for. He's cheap right now and really want to just kick the tires to see what happens. Moving on to this other running back, a lot cheaper. Similar situation, but a little bit more murkier. Similar athleticism, but a little different. Similar but different. Similar but different. But we're looking at Pierre Strong of the Patriots. 24 years old. 25 years old by the end of the season. So age is creeping up there, even though we're in year 2. RB68 in ADP. 206 overall. Patriots roster right now at the running back position. Ramondre Stevenson, James Robinson, Ty Montgomery, Kevin Harris. Kevin Harris, remember that name because a lot of people on the channel in the comment section likes that guy. He's also a big, thick, bruising running back who could be a sneaky guy. This is also a murkier situation than what's expected here. So it could be hard treading water, but there's also some upside here because you're talking about a running back with 95th percentile speed score, 86th percentile burst score, 76th percentile agility score. So this guy's an athlete. But draft capital, day 3, 4th rounder, high-end producer at a small college. So there is some stuff to look at here in his prospect profile that could allow him to go boom. Situation saying, hey, some things are going to have to happen. Ramondre Stevenson's the guy here. He's going to get the workload. Nothing is going to take away from that, really. We do know the Patriots like to use the multiple running backs. We've seen that over the history of time. However, something's going to happen here because Ramondre Stevenson was the lead dog here in the backfield. But attrition happens here. We've seen running back groups get decimated. And at 206 overall, RB68, you're not betting on that. You're just taking a speculation piece just in case that happens. But you can really say that to some of the other running backs here on the roster too at various price points. But going to the trade calculator here, taking a look here, and he's being valued for a strong 3rd and 4th round rookie pick per that. And then on the trade finder, you're catching some discounts. Justin Ross straight up, Tyler Algier straight up, 309 straight up, Chase Claypool straight up. So there's some things you can do. Also DJ Dallas 303, other picks you can make, other trades you can make, a cheap guy to get if you want to speculate. He's a cheap speculation piece. What do you want to do with the cheap capital on your team? What do you want to do with the back end? Do you want to turn and burn it? Do you want to use that 4th round pick and get a veteran like this who has some spots in his profile where you can see where he can go boom, but you know attrition's got to happen for him to work, and he also has to play well for that to happen. He has to play well in camp. He has to work his way up the depth chart a little more. He has to do some things, so things are a little bit murkier than expected. But again, it's just cheap speculation, and there's all kinds of players in the league you can do that on. We have an athletic profile you can do that on. He's got some stuff here that you can look at, but all in all, things have to happen for him. Things have to happen because it's not going to be insert player, let's go. But those are cheap bets you have to make, and we always have one on a video that we got to talk about. Usually it's the same thing. There's something in this guy's profile that you can look at. However, this, and this has to happen. So who are you choosing to get? Because you can't get everybody. Who are you choosing to get with that 4th round rookie pick? Are you drafting a guy? Trading for a guy? You flipping guys around to get this guy? The same thing here. He's a speculation guy. You can see where the upside can be. Things do have to happen here for him to jump up in value for Dynasty, for him to be productive. However, attrition can be the thing because that happens with a lot of backfields throughout the season, and you do want to roster some talented backups just because of that. The cheaper the better, and that's with all positions and everything else in life. You just want to be as cheap as possible and frugal as possible. It's a frugal running back to look at if you're looking for a speculative asset that is super cheap. But those are 3 running backs that we're looking at on the market today that you can possibly trade for, sell, or do whatever you want. Do what you want with your team. That's the thing here. And we're going to cover running backs and wide receivers and other positions here all throughout the offseason on the trade market. So you know what to do with it. If you're in multiple leagues, you can do different things in different leagues with different markets. This gives you an idea, a guideline, a rule that you can follow to help you out with your trade negotiations as we look up the data and go over it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. It's only going to help you build your Dynasty teams going forward and set them rosters in season. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.